let me do it, and this is this is the end result.
I think it's great.
I think it's going to catch on.
I really don't at all.
I think you created a new fashion.
It's fine. It's absolutely fine, Rel.
I'm going to undo this now. This is quite tight.
All right, well, I better introduce Jonas while Rel sorts himself out.
Well, having a good day so far for a great first game to start things off, and we're going to have maybe an upset here, as Team 3G has been very impressive. Splice kind of disappointing, so a lot of really good games coming up today.
Wow, okay. So you're thinking 3G might win this then?
I'm saying before the tournament, I would have said Splice was definitely going to take it on paper, but now I'm like 55-45 towards Splice.
Oh, wow, not really with Splice. Rel, do you agree with him?
I think Splice are going to take it. I think
you're more confident. More confident.
Definitely. And don't get me wrong, I don't want to take anything away from 3G because they have been a bit of a surprise team here. I mean, we knew they were great. We knew they had some great players within it. Of course, Swedish champion Quicker. Love dropping that one in. But they've performed so well on the run up to this.
They certainly have. Well, before we get too far and too deep into this game, let's take a little look at the bracket and how everything is playing out. As you can see, we started all those games yesterday. Where we currently are, though, is in the losers bracket. Splice versus Team 3G. After that, Aware versus Infused. Now, Splice dropped early to Team Orbit, which means they've had to go through the likes of Epsilon so far, and now 3G. They win that, they could be playing either Aware or Infused. We'll find out as that continues on. But it's going to be a long day for Splice as they keep going forward in this bracket. But Jonas, I've got to get back to this. You're doubting Splice quite considerably, considering they were the #1 ranked team coming in. They've only lost to Orbit, who is, you know, easily top 3, maybe top 2, depending on who you speak to. Why?
Well, because it's not just the fact that Splice isn't a good team. They're a fantastic team, and they have the caliber of players that can win international tournaments, I do believe. But this tournament, they've not looked as fantastic as expected. On the other end, 3G coming into this tournament, a lot of people have overlooked them, the same way that we have overlooked Aware. If you look at the current rankings, we have Epsilon and Fnatic top 8, and Aware and 3G, they are sure to be top 6. The other thing to me is 3G, despite just losing, they still have a lot of stake because they are playing for pool play MLG Atlanta, and as long as Aware is in the tournament, they are risking to not go, so they need to win this.
Well, speaking of 3G, let's have a little look at their team roster and see how this one breaks down. Niall, Quicker, Weeman, and Zerg are this team. And you are right, Jonas, saying, you know, this team has surprised a few people. It's a big game for them. They don't want Aware to outplace them in pro points. Rel, what's your take on this squad?
Well, yeah, I mean, we've said before at this particular invitational, they've been doing exceptionally well. A team rating of 1.06 means that they are above the average. And they were getting fired up in that booth the other day. You could hear Quicker screaming and even slipping a bit of trash talk out in his post-game interview. So they're pretty confident considering they are underdogs.
Well, I'm a little bit upset because if 3G go out here, we won't get to see 3G play Orbit again after, you know, Shay called out rated earlier on. So
yeah, that's true.
It is, but at the same time, you know, 3G, what I was most surprised with is their previous series earlier today, where they showed good resilience. They went down 2-0 in the series, they had a massive uplink game, again forcing yet another game in overtime at the last second, doing a crazy run in overtime, so amazing stuff from them, showing a lot of composure.
Well, speaking of their opponents, Bats, Josh, Jerd, and Madcat, #1 rated team coming into this event found themselves in the loser bracket straight away. Can they make this run?
I mean, it's just it's interesting looking at them and seeing where they are at this stage. They have been underperforming. Everyone expected so much from them, especially after placing first in the previous two 2Ks and having very strong online performances and internationally as well.
Yep.
I can only see them beating 3G, but the informed team at the moment for me are 3G.
All right, okay. I think you know, you guys are maybe playing a little bit off the fact that Orbit took Splice down, and I don't know. For me, that's kind of like it's Orbit. You know, for me, they're looking like they could be one of the elite level teams in Europe. They did take down Splice. Splice don't even really know why they lost. They just thought they had a bad game, but we'll find out. Let's actually go though into a key player matchup. It's Madcat and Quicker Than You. Madcat actually having one of the best statistics this event. He has been playing superb for his squad. He's the best performing, I believe, on Splice. Against Quicker, again, good stats from him. He's in 10th, 11th in a few of these positions overall, but compare that to 3rd and 4th.
Mad Cat is always delivering. I mean, last year, a lot of people were considering him regarding one of the best players in Europe, again, showing this year. And to me, there may be another key player to watch is going to be Benz, because he's not been delivering to what we were expecting from him. He's been playing amazing all year long last year, and especially at COD Champs, someone that, you know, everyone was impressed with, and he needs to step up. I feel like I'm not going to say it's the reason that they are in the lower bracket, but if they want to win a tournament, he needs to step it up.
Okay, so... yeah, I can see that. I can see that. I don't think Bance has performed as much, but I think it's because we expect so much of him.
Yeah.
You know, kind of the biggest breakout player of last year. Him and Zero mentioned in the same breath an awful lot. But yeah, I don't think he's living up to it. But maybe it's just a team difference. Maybe he doesn't have to excel as much now.
Well,
he
yeah,
changed his squad up. Yeah, he's got Mad Cat. Yeah, Mad Cat's stolen all of Bance's kills. Both, you know, aggressive slayers.
Well, one thing to note as well from the key player matchup is the fact that Mad Cat beat Quicker in every single category there.
Yeah.
Statistically, he is the better player, and the same could be said for the remaining players in Splice.
All right, well, let's start getting into this now. Predictions. Jonas, you said 55-45
I'm gonna say
to
3-2.
Splice.
I'm going to stick to that 55-45. The closest I can get is 3-2.
3-2 to Splice.
To Splice. But it's going to be a close one.
Rel?
I think it's going to be 3-0, but it's going to be very narrow margins in terms of the victory, but I think a 3-0 win.
Okay, well,
For Splice.
both for Splice.
Yeah.
And then we've got Breakout, Scorched Frost, Throwback, and Retaliation. But the game is ready to go. So I'm throwing it over to our casters now. It's Mr. X and Momo.
Thank you very much, Brycey and the boys on the desk. We do have 3G and Splice coming up head-to-head here. Splice going in hot favourites. I don't know what's got into Jonas maybe thinking 3G have a chance here, because I am firmly...
Jonas stayed out a little bit too late last night. I think that's why he comes in here. I mean, look, 3G to kind of, I guess, kind of back up his point a little bit. I mean, you know, 3G has been good. They've surprised a lot of people, very resilient. But I do feel like Splice is a different animal than they played thus far. I feel like they're going to run into some trouble here.
I think as well, you know, after their slip up to orbit, they've looked strong ever since, but prove us wrong, 3G. You know, they're coming into here, you know, no organization, just 4 guys put together, tallied up their pro points, and here we are. We're going to go into game number 1. Let's have a chat and see what Quicker had to say before the game.
So for me, Splice, early on in the tournament, didn't really have a challenge, and then they went up against Orbit, and they lost 3-0. I think that we stand a really good chance of beating them. I think they're a very talented team, 4 really good players, but I think we've still got a really good chance of beating them if we perform as we have been.
Okay, so Quicker sounding confident, starts off 1-on-1, as we do see Jordan and the boys take control.
Yeah, sounds like he thinks that just Splice has not played against anybody good. They've beat up on a bunch of the lower tier teams that were here, and I know the one game that they had against top competition thus far, against Orbit, they lost that pretty bad. So I think Quicker kind of looks at that match, gives him and his team some confidence. Okay,
well, Vance has had a pretty good start to the game already, 3-0. He's coming back to pick up number 4 and still going on a tear. Scarab has been unlocked, but you know, no major points have been collected, and pretty much what you expect on this this rooftop. He's still going though.
And I'm surprised a lot of the players are still running Scarab in respawn game modes. Everyone is pretty much running Flak Jacket, so you're not going to be able to take anybody out with it. Takes you out of your player. I've never been a fan of, you know, score streaks or kill streaks that take you out of your character. In respawn game modes, I feel like I know too many things can go wrong during that.
Yeah, just taking you actually, you know, off the battlefield. You know, you're replacing yourself, and your teammates may need you. Mad Cat, though, he will be locking down this second rotation. You do have 1 player spawned now. That's Jordan. Triple comes in for the boys for 3G, and they're going to break this. And actually, there's 1 player right at the back. It's this man. It's Josh. He needs to stay alive.
Yeah, he's trying to stay alive for as long as possible there to set up a pinch. So if Josh would have been able to stay alive there, he would have had teammates coming through the front. But it's going to be Zerg and Co. able to lock down this back area. So they do get control of the cell block hardpoint. They're racking up some score here, and see how far away Splice is spawning. It's going to be very difficult for them to get back. They have to hit that wall run, get a player all the way in this back area, try and knock down these spawns. And now look, by the time they even get there, there's going to be maybe 10 seconds left on this. You should just start rotating over to Grave. Fantastic break and hold by 3G.
Yeah, it really is. A cell block will be firmly in the hands of 3G. Looking at that rotation, though, Splice have full control. Jerd's heading over. In fact, he's pushing up a little bit, but one player is hitting the flank. It's quicker. A player we've already highlighted for many reasons, and he'll be the one to be tagged up first. He's going to be taken down by Mad Cat. Zerd flanking from the other side as well. Trying to pinch, but it's not going to work off, and Splice could just push them back here.
Yeah, now Zerg just waiting for some teammate support here as he's going to try and fly out over the top. But you got to get this player out of cave. You can sit behind that bulldozer inside the hard point, just rack up score, and have players in the cave with assault rifles just kind of reign supreme down on these players running in. But no, Splice does not get another hold yet again. It's broken pretty quick here by the side of 3G with 30 seconds left on it. So a lot of time there for the taking. And whoever it was in cave for Splice, I believe it was Jert, didn't provide enough cover fire. Josh challenges in the hill. You know, could have just stayed behind the bulldozer. I don't think Splice played that well.
Yeah, 3G have broke that, and now they have the option to push forward. There is one player spawned out. It's going to be Bance, but he's going to be caught. Obviously, entering the hard point. Location will be revealed, but the last 5 seconds actually will go to Splice, and that's not really a good thing. We see here the first person on... oh, it's Nile, actually, straight in the Scarab.
But look, I mean, he's not going to be able to pick anybody up with there. And I mean, he has some teammates coming, provides some help, and he's able to pick up 2. But that could have gotten pretty dangerers. I mean, if Zerg doesn't pick up Vance coming all the way around the back, that would have been a free kill onto 1, and then he would have been able to take out Nile here inside his Scarab. So that's what I was trying to talk about a little bit about earlier.
Yeah, I actually completely agree. Nile's kind of gone off there, but it was with, you know, his weapon. You know, it wasn't the Scarab that really affected much. Josh and Zerg are going to exchange on the hill. Zerg still in control, and actually 3G break the triple-digit mark. Splice do bounce back, and they will have control for the last 25 seconds until we hit rotation number 2.
And it's really odd to see Splice start off kind of slow here. I mean, you have Mad Cat, 6 and 10, Jerd 5 and 10. Not great games from them thus far. Really, Bance has been the only one I can feel like has been pretty consistent for them throughout this entire tournament.
And that's showing right now here. Obviously dropping 13. We can see if we jump on board, I try with Jerd as he falls to the opposition. Mad Cat's going to hit the rotation. Obviously, the next one being on those rooftops. And I think Mad Cat playing this one quite smart. He's going to be caught off guard. Quicker, too smart. And the first player jumping on, it's going to be Weeman. Someone we haven't really highlighted. I mean, first impressions of Weeman this tournament for myself, absolutely fantastic player, but he's just lacking a bit in this game.
Yeah, not showing it right now, but I do feel like he is the one player I had questions coming in when I watched this 3G team, how he was going to stack up against top competition. He's been good enough for them to get victories.
Yeah.
I think he's definitely made some big kills in some situations, but definitely going to need to see him step up in a prime spot to kind of secure his place on this team as they move forward.
Well, we're going to see here Splice trying to reach that 100-point mark. They look comfortable to do so. Let's go on board with Bance because he's the one really lighting up. He does have another Scarab in his back pocket, picks up number 16. And again, he's not just getting the kills here, he's getting that objective work in as well. Josh finding another as they do break in. We're going to see a very close game here, tying up going into cell block.
And I feel like some of the struggles for someone like Mad Cat or even Jerd, I mean, Jerd plays at such a fast pace that if his team doesn't have control of the hill or whatnot and he's leading the charge, it's going to be very difficult him going up against some of the assault rifle players at range as he's flying high. And I feel like with Mad Cat, this game, you need to rotate early, you need to lock down those spawns. And you know as well as I know, looking back at the Black Ops 2 days, like that's a really big mental game. You got to kind of play patiently. You got to know who you're going against, what spots they like to go to. It's definitely more complex than it seems.
And it's one of those things, you know, you talk about the mental game there. When you've not got that good spawn, that anchor at the back, you only have 1 or 2 chances. You know, you've really got to go for it. If you mess up on that first one, you could be giving 30 points away to the enemy team. And you've seen Splice now, pretty much back-to-back kills, get every single point.
Yeah, now they've held down this cell block for the entirety of the hill. You do see it's going to be 3G rotating over towards Grave a little bit early here. And I'll be interested to see what Splice decides to do. They have 1 more player left inside the hard point. So does that player go all the way towards mid-map, secure down caves with the rest of his team? Or do they try and set a pinch? So you see where number 8 spawns. That's going to be Josh. Spawns up near that last hard point. You're going to let the new one pop up. And you see now the pinch comes in. And look at where Nile spawned up. Number 1 on your mini-map spawns out. This is where Splice, they need to realize this situation and go fast. They can't just wait here because Nile's going to come from the back, kill 2 or 3 players.
Yeah, we're going to have Mad Cat. Mad Cat needs to turn around because he spotted Nile already. The trade comes in, and that's fantastic breaking material from 3G. And you know what? They're in a fantastic position as well because they know every single player is spawning back. Grenades coming in from Jerd, though, will preempt this, and the numerical advantage favor Splice just for a second. Jammer grenades going in as well. Trades left, right, and center. But again, 3G looking still very, very strong.
And this is one where Splice is going to give up a ton of time where they should have actually broken it. you need to realize when you have that pinch going, you get that first kill, you have to know you block spawns on either side of the hard point. The player is going to spawn out. These are experienced guys. They should know that already. They need to be a bit faster getting towards the hard point.
Splyce have actually committed a lot to these last 10 seconds, Mr. X. I'm not sure what you make of this, but, you know, they're going to get the last 10, but they've given full rotation again to 3G. I know they're about 40 points behind, but this could be the comeback that 3G need right now.
3G has control of that helipad area. We saw Camo being used there to just kind of get some better positioning. Nile does not get a kill for it. It's going to be Jerd trying to push here towards the back, and all the kills go in favor of Splyce here. And man, that could not have gotten worse for 3G. This is one of the harder hard points to break. You have to either go towards that center where it's obviously wide open, not a lot of cover to make it through, or hit that wall run yet again. So I feel like 3G, their best opportunity to go towards that mid-map. The wall run, I feel like, is just a death trap.
Yeah, it is absolutely one of those choke points where it's like, come on, guys, it takes 3 or 4 more seconds, but we've got to go round. We've got to play it smart. Splyce taking every single second from this point, and you know what? It all came down for that Nile Camo versus Jerd rewind. Jerd got the better of him, got the better spawns, and as the last 10 seconds come in, we're going to see a staggering lead coming in for Splyce.
Yeah, and it looks like, Splyce is going to take the rest of this time, work their way towards the center hardpoint. Bance does have reactive armor. You may see that popped here. I would probably opt to hold it for cell block in case anything kind of crazy happens on this hardpoint, but going to use that lower wall run, come up behind one player, and this is where you think Splyce can start to put a lot of pressure on the center hardpoint. Yeah,
good utilization of in-game mechanics there by Bance. He's going to find another and still continue his streak. 5-kill streak for him, nearly hitting 30, of course. Nearly as well on a 2.0 KD ratio. It's not everything, but he's also on 2 minutes of hill time right now.
Well, I think it's really, Bance obviously continuing the strong play throughout the game. And then also Madcat definitely picked up his performance. Was struggling at the beginning, I believe, at 1.6 and 10. Brings things back to a respectable, 20 and 17 right now.
Okay, well, 3G started strong, but they finished weak. 20 seconds is left on this hill, but they only need one. Splyce don't continue for a second there, but they are going to close out game number 1. In pretty comfortable fashion. They started a bit shaky, but Splyce ironed out the creases, and they take game number 1.
So the score is 250-155. Obviously a huge win for Splyce. I think that is actually even a more lopsided win than it actually looks, from the standpoint that they had that pinch we were talking about set up over by Grave. They just weren't fast enough. They go maybe a second faster. They break that, get another 40 seconds there. You kind of subtract this. This is really like a 250-110 game, barely over the 100-point mark for 3G. So I feel like, 3G, obviously, they get a ton of points off of a little bit of a mistake by Splyce. I think looking at the score, obviously, still a blowout in Splyce's favor, a little bit more lopsided than it seems, though.
Yeah, I do completely agree. Weeman struggled in that, maybe against these top-caliber players. Hopefully he'll pick that one up in the search and destroy. But we do see from, every single player on Splyce, putting in something, contributing something to the squad. I'd love to, of course, hear what we're having in the booths, but I'm sure we can get that later on. Splyce versus 3G, though. Jonas obviously kind of put forward, the argument for 3G. And I just want to kind of talk about their run going through this whole tournament in very general aspects, but they've really turned up with no pressure, no organization. They've shocked everyone straight away, and now they have a chance, kind of the big dogs. Take this, they take almost Splyce's run, but I just don't see it happening.
But, I mean, coming into this, you looked at all the teams, here and whatnot, and you probably thought that Aware and 3G make it to this position. You probably think they go out a little bit earlier?
Yeah, maybe top 8.
Yeah, so you probably just, you switch, like, one of the placings with Fnatic with one of these teams, and it's kind of where you thought everybody would be at this moment in time.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I mean, as well as Epsilon. You see Fnatic and Epsilon dip out at top 8. It does give a chance to these teams like 3G and Aware.
You swap those two teams. So if you swap Fnatic and Epsilon with 3G and Aware, it's pretty much what we kind of thought would be our top 8 at the end of this thing.
Yeah, that is correct. I mean, I definitely didn't expect Splyce to be in the loser bracket, but I'm sure they'll make a run. But, I kind of had the top tier Splyce Orbit, then I had Infused Elevate, just below them. And then I had Fnatic Epsilon. And these two teams have trumped them, 3G and Aware. And I'm sure Fnatic and Epsilon will be wanting to bounce back, of course, many, many tournaments to come. But I'm hoping, and my eyes are on Weeman going into this one. He's a great S&D player. He'll be rocking the reactive armor, I'm guessing, as per usual. I'm looking at him to drop some big kills.
Yeah, and I think this is actually a particularly tough matchup for 3G in the sense that Splyce, obviously, some veterans, guys who are used to playing deep into tournaments, deep into Championship Sunday, if you're 3G, you kind of just wake up this morning. It just feels like another day. Like you're just going to play.
Yeah.
It is not. It's a completely different beast. And you come in here and you kind of coast through it. And the group play has been so long. And then in the brackets, it's like you almost feel like probably in the back of your head, like you have another chance, but you don't. Like it doesn't feel like a losing bracket matchup.
Yeah,
probably.
I know exactly what you mean. I was trying to think back, actually, like personally, have I ever done like a 4-day Call of Duty event? Because I was thinking, this is, it is endurance. So much kind of. I mean,
it's not really as much physical, it's like mental.
Yeah,
endurance.
It's draining, but imagine being in those booths. I mean, you've been behind some of the top players in the world, and for yourself, even as a coach, like you've got to put so much passion into that. These guys, are they going to run out of juice, is the question.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of tough to keep it going, especially in an atmosphere where they're not used to. I feel like a 4-day event. It's one of the only ones I can really remember coming in. Obviously on this 4th day, you got to imagine these guys have been through so many tough matches, crazy in-game scenarios, and the game's moving so fast, right? Using so much just brain power, try and figure out, make these small decisions that impact the game so much. It's really impressive, from all these guys.
Well, we're going into map number 2. It's going to be Scorch, Search and Destroy. Splice versus Team 3G. I got excited for a second as Jerd had the sniper, but he's pulled it away. Or put it away, should I say, and the MV4 is out. Strong push towards B. A very, very standard one, but he's going to be taken down by a sniper, maybe regretting his decision as Zerg strikes first blood. Yeah,
we saw Jerd do some nice things with the sniper rifle the other day on a throwback Search and Destroy. I'm not going to bring it out here, but Zerg's going to be able to take him out right off the bat. So it's going to give a 2-player advantage as Zerg pulls out his pistol, able to take Josh out.
Well, how he knew he was there, I don't know whether a call out or a sound was made, but a 2v3 maybe cut down, no? A smart play from the player of 3G backing off and playing that numerical advantage. You can see on the minimap they're backing off, but they're going to be caught with the pants down. That's Weeman giving it straight to Mad Cat and a 2v2. Bance is going to go high. Let's see what he's doing. He does have the bomb, and he doesn't want to die in an unfavorable position. And you know what? They're going to do it. A 2v3 clutch. I don't like the way they turn the backs on them.
Yeah, and when you're the underdog and you get the man advantage and around a Search and Destroy, you need to secure those. Mad Cat with some nice shots, though. He's able to take out 2 players. One obviously right in front of control, the other over by observation, and then Bance just comes through the window. I feel like he catches that last player off guard, but a very good situation there. Played by the side of Splice, winning that 2v3 scenario around that 3G will most certainly want back.
Okay, well, Zerk is going to put the sniper away, and have a look at this, ladies and gentlemen. We're seeing an A push. There is only Bance for Splice defending this. This could get very, very messy quite quickly. Bance is going to be seen, and he's going to call that out. He'll be running back, and the boys of 3G will be wanting to push and pin them down. Grenades will be going out, and first blood has not been struck just yet.
Now, I was just going to say, actually, before this round, most of the action happens over by the B-bomb site. Not a lot of A pushes. 3G catches Splice off guard. Bance, the only one over towards the site. They just overwhelm him. The rest of the guys have to fly in through the narrow chokes. They fall. So a good push there by 3G catching Splice off guard.
I like that as well from 3G. They didn't go for the standard, we'll just try to be the better team at B. They thought, you know what, they won't expect A. Let's just full force. Push it down, and Bance really was caught off guard. You saw him almost panic, run away, and the call-outs will have come in, but it was too late.
And I feel like we've seen those type of things work over the last few years in Call of Duty. You can think back to, some maps that had a really dominant bomb site. A team just goes to the opposite side of the map that first round, they almost certainly win it.
Yeah.
I feel like we just don't see it quite often. You see it from some of the, the unfavored teams in matchups, and they're able to pull out some rounds. I'm surprised we don't see it more often, though. Jerd in a fantastic spot here, ready to kill players that rotate in.
Well, he's waiting for him to crawl through. Quicker's going to actually strike first. And you know what? Trades may come in. Oh, he's not finished him off. That's a bit of a mess, and now we'll clean up. 2 versus 3. Josh left in an unfavorable position now, but the bomb is down. It's the only thing going for him. Shaky shots, and you know what? It wouldn't surprise me. He's now on the defuse. He is. Can Josh get in there, make the kill? He might find one, but surely the defuse will come in. And 2 rounds on the bounce here for Team 3G.
Yeah, if he has a K-bar or an NV4 in that first gunfight, he probably wins it. No, that is one downfall for taking the submachine gun in this type of situation. This medium to long-range gunfight. Just not going to win with the ERAD. Just can't take that first player out fast enough to make a play on the bomb.
I think as well, I think it was Jerd, jumping around in the corners. It was a bit of a sloppy mistake there that he'll be regretting.
Yeah, I don't know if that needs to be explained. Jerd's shots were not accurate at all. Just jumping around like a maniac.
Well, now we'll be taking the bomb this time. Did Zerg have a sniper? Yes, he is. Let's see what he can pull off, as he will be challenged straight away. It's going to be Jerd. And you know what? I think it's sniper versus sniper, maybe. He did get tagged here Quicker's found one, and Quicker, what is Niall doing? Straight in the face, but he does have the bomb.
Yeah, it's kind of risky when your bomb carrier is the one leading the charge. If Niall wanted to play in this type of position, probably should have let somebody else grab it, but they're going to try and work this towards the B bomb site. Now, fantastic play there by Mad Cat. So he gets tagged up. Instead of challenging, sits behind the box, has two teammates there ready to trade that out. Very patient play there from Mad Cat.
And the one thing, I think it was Zerg, the last player or the player to go down, he only saw one. He thought that was the same person. So the hiding of one and the appearing of the other, it really was a very tactical play coming in from Splice, and they tied the game up 2-2. If you just join us, of course, Splice take map number 1. Seems a little bit closer, though, on the search and destroy as we flick the sides. Let's have a look at Josh.
Yeah, which this is the game mode that I have just not been impressed with Splice at all throughout this tournament. Their search and destroy has been really lackluster. I feel like just kind of conforming to a lot of strategies that other teams do, not really trying anything that fits their play style. I feel like, though, they definitely will get better as the year goes on in S&D. And you see Josh spots one. Gonna be able to take him out. Nice long-range shots there with E-Red.
Yeah, nice shots there, but there is going to be one on the flank, and straight away, they need to be prepared, and they are prepared. Spotted. He's going to eliminate that. That's going to be now coming in as the assist is offered by Quicker. Quicker should find another. Oh, traded in the back, and that's going to be Niall. I can't even jump on board with him. As a clean round there for Splice. I think they only lost one in the action, and again, they favor A.
It seems like both teams in S&D, it's pretty much the offense will either... It just seems like both teams just pushing players to each site. And it's
Flip a coin.
It's like we either see them and we just fight, or we have to rotate all the way around to the other side of the map. Doesn't really seem like you have kind of players going on flanks in this one. It seems like it's just going to be pretty much both teams just challenging each other head on.
Zerg's put the sniper away, which is an interesting choice, and we'll see the pretty standard B push here from both teams. This could end very, very quickly here. Now picks up one. Jerd's going to be the first to fall. And with the K-bar, Zerg a bit hesitant here on the wall run. Now they push as a 4. This is good communication between them. Should find another. Niall comes in, a good assist as well. And a 2 versus 3. Can they finish this off? They should do.
Yeah, well, this would be the second 2v3 they could potentially lose, but now it's going to be a 1v2. Bant's the only one alive for Splice, and I do feel like if Splice is going to challenge that strong, like they did at the beginning, for a second there, I thought he was going to pop reactive, maybe able to take out the second player. But I think if Splice challenges as fast and hard as they did at the beginning, they drop one player, you can't back up and give them the site. You got to just commit to fights.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think sometimes as well, one player just sitting back and making it, instead of a 4v4 or 3v4,
yeah,
it only ends one way. You know, they had to push as a team, and I think 3G actually did that very, very well there. You saw Zerg kind of collect his thoughts and wait for a second, but I see Bance here again. He's rocking the Scarab, obviously maybe a bit more effective on Search and Destroy, more for intel purposes,
yes,
but it still has that reactive armor.
Yeah, you kind of use the Scarab to scout around, see where players are and whatnot. So we'll see what Bance sees through the eyes of the Scarab. I have to bring it all the way up the stairs. It's not strong enough to make that jump. So we'll see. Gonna bring it over here towards the B site, scout this out. So he sees one player, really gains nothing out of that. I mean, players play in that position all the time.
Yeah, Mad Cat's gonna be watching the bridge, and he's gonna find one, doesn't find the second. That should have ended the round if he picked it up, but a life-saving kill was Quicker. Josh has fallen now, and things looking a little bit prettier for 3G.
Splice has just put themselves in really awful positions during this. I mean, in the last round, they back all the way up, kind of leave their teammates at the drive, create a 3v4 scenario for themselves, pretty poor. And then in this one, you just see they get really aggressive here over towards B. They lose a bunch of players, and it seems like they kind of have no idea what they're really trying to do. Like, no goal at the beginning of a round, like whether, okay, we're going to push straight through and do this, or, hey, we're going to go to the bomb and do this, get it down. It seems like it's just kind of figuring it out, like, hey, let's go over towards B and let's see what happens.
Yeah, let's hope for the best almost. Oh, one player there jumping up and down. Bance has seen him, but not connecting with the bullets, and all that does is kill time. 10 seconds left on the clock, and he needs to get the bomb down. Judging by where the players are, he should be able to, but he should be tagged instantly. No, gets away with his life, finds one. Can he find the second? Why did he stop shooting?
He stopped shooting, and he has reactive armor there.
Oh, that was again, very messy from Splice.
Yeah, just a mess there. When you see him, I know he's firing the shots. If he doesn't stop, maybe he kills that player. If he uses reactive, he's probably going to stay alive long enough to maybe, get down into that lower part of the bomb site room and just get out of dodge. Maybe would have been able to just turn and get a little bit more elevation above Zerg there and take him out. So
Judging by the way he turned around, it's like he almost thought that was either his teammate or he thought he'd made the kill, and there was only one of them there.
And it's kind of crazy that 3G gets the advantage in a lot of these rounds, and they're coming down to like one gunfight still.
But yeah.
Splice is able to bring it back.
Well, Niall does have both a score streak of a Scarab and a camo. He's on the attack, but he's playing slow. Josh basically just gifts a free kill there. Not what Splice would need right now. They're 4-3 down, 60 seconds on the clock. And who's this? Bance is pushing forward again, and is he doing it on his own?
Yeah, I mean, Josh goes down the middle of the map alone. Bance comes up with one there, but I mean, look, Quicker just 2 pieces. Mad Cat and Bance, their body stacked in the middle of the map. Jerd just trying to run in through control on the other side. Splice just not playing as a team in this search and destroy.
Yeah, and that started from the get-go. I don't particularly think it was Bance pushing through second, because I think Mad Cat was backing him up shortly. But the initial push, which I think was from Josh or Jerd?
Josh,
was a bit of a kind of a loose cannon push. A PT push is what I call that.
Yeah, no, Quicker has been very effective for 3G in this search and destroy, 10 and 6. And, you know, they've done some really nice things, being patient there on the offensive end, knowing that Splice is being very aggressive.
Well, they have payloads. They can push forward. They're pushing as a group. And this time, they do pick up the first blood. That's going to be Josh. Wee Man does fall. One just round the corner there. Splice should be able to close this one on off. I believe the bomb's going down. And 2v4, this is looking much better.
Yeah, no, I like how Bance played that. Originally, it looked like he was going to jump out and challenge right away. Just waits, lets his team get bombed down, plays that corner, and it's going to be a 3v2. Splice has the man advantage. Niall gets tagged up, so he's not going to be able to get in the fight right away. His teammate Zerg is able to get one. Mad Cat's going to trade that out quick. He's going to force Niall chase Mad Cat. He turns and burns him. Splice gets their 4th round. Now, for some reason, I feel like we're going to a round 11 here. I mean, I feel like Splice is going to figure it out in this next one. That time, you see how effective they are when they go together, though. They push all 4 players straight through the bomb.
Yeah, you look at those 4 players, and they have the capability, obviously, to clutch up at any time and, you know, turn a game on its head. The one thing I keep looking at, though, is the amount of payloads available. I'll try and just flick through and see. Bance has the reactive armor, but Niall has camo. Okay, right, so let's go back on board. Let's stick with Niall, because this camo and Scarab could be very influential.
I feel like if you're Splice, just lead through with Bance with the reactive armor. And Josh, he's going to fall first. I believe you have Bance trying to push through. He falls to Wee Man, so just a little bit of passive play coming out here from 3G. And it's all on Jerd. Uses rewind, finds another player, not able to knock down the shots. It's 3G getting on the board here.
Yep, 3G tie things up in Search and Destroy. You said before, their Splice's Search and Destroy have not impressed you, Matt, and you know what? It continues that way, and their respawn has been dominant. Their respawn has, but they've slipped up once again. Can 3G take the momentum going into Game 3? Because we have seen actually 3G perform very, very well on uplink. I don't think they can take the hard point. I'm thinking 3G right now. They have to just somehow, 1 point, a sneaky push, play defensive. They win this uplink. Yeah, there's a chance.
Well, uplink, obviously, with the drone being a central objective, you're able to kind of slow it down and control the pace of the game if you control the drone. So as opposed to something like a hard point where it's constantly moving, constantly rotating, the game is just going to naturally move at a fast pace. I agree with you. I don't see a world where they win the hard point. I think the uplink is their best chance of extending this series.
Yeah, okay. Well, the one thing as well we talk about a lot, of course, is the slaying power in uplink and how that affects. I believe we're going into Frost, which I've seen so much of this weekend. Slaying power, again, I'd just look at Splice.
And this is one of the maps where it's a little bit harder to score on, and you can slow the game down pretty considerably. I mean, there's a lot of area to bring the drone if you want to just burn clock. There's a lower wall runs over by Clipside. You can bring it all the way back by Helipad if you wanted to. So a lot of opportunities for 3G to play keep away if they get an early lead.
A quick question for yourself, obviously, Matt. I mean, these two teams, objective seems to have kind of dwindled away in recent kind of Call of Duties. Is there any two particular plays you're looking at for either side here?
I mean, if you're going to talk about, you know, maybe somebody who can do some nice things with the objective in their hand, Jerd, I think, has some of the best movement in the EU scene, maybe even the world. And that's been for a few years now, you know, since Advanced Warfare, and obviously moving into Black Ops 3. On the side of 3G, I would probably look at Zerg. You know, looks like just looking at the rig draft here, he's going to be running overdrive. So anytime you have a player with overdrive and uplink, you definitely kind of highlight him. And the guy with camos, that'll be Niall for the side of 3G as your 2 playmakers.
Okay, well, Wee Man takes the reactive armor, so he's going to have to be the slayer of the squad as much like anyone else. You know, you've all got to be able to put numbers on, and that's what I think I can always count on with Splice is in the respawns to all put big numbers up. The one thing that I hope for 3G, that they don't have, you know, one player have an off map, because you can't do that against a team like Splice.
Yeah, and just looking at Splice's rig draft, we haven't really talked too much about rig draft and the strategy behind it. A lot of teams just kind of being consistent, game in and game out. Splice not doing anything different, right? I mean, they're going to have Mercs, Synaptic, Warfighter, and Phantom with everything you expect, Camo, Overdrive, Rewind, and Reactive. The only thing I think you can make an argument for is, like, maybe, like, Jerd should have something like an Overdrive or a Camo. Like, he's probably going to be the player that finds himself in situations where he uses that better. Like, Mad Cat with Overdrive, it just seems like an odd fit to me. And I feel like, you know, maybe you give somebody like Bance, you know, the propulsion and rewind, somebody who can get in there and cause a lot of chaos.
I completely agree. Objective base. I always thought about that propulsion because it's so you know, going from one game mode to another. We noticed Jerd always uses rewind and the propulsion. You know, like adapting to having propulsion and not having propulsion.
Yeah, that's true.
It kind of throw you off, which, you know, these are kind of the deep technical, tactical things that go into a game. You know, that's the one thing that, you know, all these...
This is analysis.
Yeah.
This is analysis. Yep.
Absolutely. We're going into Frost uplink, and yes, very low scoring sometimes. I mean, at the start of the weekend, we saw some 19 zeros. I mean, that was coming in from...
That was expected.
With some of the obviously lower seeded teams who are now eliminated. But I believe we are going to have a quick reset, though. I think one player didn't make it in.
Yeah, I never really thought of that, where, you know, it's not as easy to kind of trade. Like, you know, last year, if you switch from, no, let's say, the Reaper over to, like, Nomad, right? Say, for argument's sake, it would still feel the same, obviously. But with propulsion in the mix, obviously, it changes the way you move around the map and, you know, different spots you can get to. So I do feel like it's actually a little bit harder to change this year than in the past. Yeah,
I think that rig draft, I was really excited when I saw it, and the fact that you could have like traits and different, you know, you could really combine and make your own mixture.
A lot of depth.
Yeah, but it has kind of felt like they've found their core four. You know, yes, in, you know, Hardpoint you will have a little bit of a tweak, but your uplinks, your search and destroys are pretty standard, which is, you know, not a bad thing. I like its consistency, and I think sometimes that is the key.
I think the players love consistency as well. I mean, you see, you know, obviously a lot of the same guns being used. The NV4, the K-Bar, the ERAD seem to be the primary ones in Respawn. And then when you look at it, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, why would you not want active camo? Why would you not want overdrive? And why would you not want reactive? Those are three really powerful abilities that...
You have returned. Proceed into mission planning to destroy...